Hey friends, how are you? Happy Tuesday. It's Rye Myers here, your Broadway and entertainment BFF, and I am so excited you are joining me. If you are here on the Northeast, I hope you are staying so warm with all of this cold and frigid weather out. It's really, really bad. But I have a great show for you tonight. But before we begin, as always, I have that big favor to ask of you. Do me a favor, if you're watching on YouTube, subscribe to my YouTube channel so you never miss an episode of Live with Rye. And you can see all that I'm doing and more by hitting that subscribe button and seeing anytime I post a new video. So once again, smash that subscribe button below, right down here, and subscribe live to my YouTube channel. And again, if you love what you see, you can always shoot me a donation. You can go to ridethenewsguy.com /donate for more, or you can scan this fancy QR code, which I have right here as well. You scan this fancy QR code. That'll also take you to the page as well. Whatever you're able to do, and if you're so inclined, and I know I have it here somewhere, here we go, ridethenewsguy.com /donate. So I am so excited for today's guest. He is someone that I just find super talented. He's got a new show coming up next week at 54 Below, which I'm going to talk to him all about. And I am so thrilled to have seen him perform live in person for the first time last week. It was the first time seeing him perform live in person since the pandemic, because he and I did a lot of virtual events together for Broadway Plus. Please help me welcome the incredibly talented Major Attaway.
Hello, everyone. How are you, Rye?
I'm good. How are you?
I can't complain. Good evening. Good evening.
Good evening. And
I see you're outside without a coat there. You all right?
I am. Yes, I am. I'm in the crisp fall New York weather here. It's quite well. Actually, though, I saw you. It's a correction, because I actually saw you live in December at Disney on Broadway and the Jolly Holiday. So I saw you perform live in December for the first time since the pandemic, and then last week as well.
That's right. That's right. I appreciate you.
Yeah, well, I appreciate you. So how are you doing? How have you been? How are you holding up?
Well, it's one day at a time. We are still carving out a new space in our own minds, as well as this industry. That's essentially it. Like it's going pretty well, though. I mean, I'm having a lot of fun. I am becoming a student again in many aspects, but the things that I've done are able to push me right into them with confidence. So that is going well. Yeah.
Well, and confidence is key. How, in what way are you becoming a student again? Is there something new that you're learning or that you've taken on? Or do you
Oh, yes, of course. Well, I had already started a voiceover career prior to being cast in Aladdin, but thanks to the pandemic and revamping everything, now I'm learning to become my own editor, my own producer, my own director, and that spills over into the cabaret world as well. I'm able to be in charge of a lot more of the places that I use my talent, and so that feels good, because I feel like as opposed to the work that I've done for years, is kind of waiting in line to do other people's work. Now I'm getting to create my own as well as continue to do that. So it's exciting.
Yeah, that must be very exciting. And to be able to, as you said, create your own work and be able to sort of do all of this. I mean, one of the things you mentioned was voiceover. That is very exciting. I know that was a career for a lot of people that sort of flourished in the middle of the pandemic when everyone was locked down, because there were so many opportunities coming. You had already sort of had that experience, though, right? So for you, it was probably, you were already experienced and seasoned and hit the ground running with that, I assume.
Yes, in a way I was experienced in doing the work I was,
Yeah.
but doing it away from everyone was different. So I was awfully spoiled, I would say. I would get asked two questions when I got to the studio. Major, would you like to sit or stand? Or would you like coffee or water? And then I walk in the booth and do my work and then go home. And this time we are meeting with these people at this time, and they are in this state or this country. And now you have to build your booth in your space,
Right.
as well as, run multiple computers at once so that things run smoothly. Yes. So yeah, all of that was brand new. And that took some time. It's still taking time, in an honest way, but it's working. So that's what's great. Yeah.
Well, it's working, and that's what's, as you said, what's great. We are all sort of I mean, even here, I'm my one-man show with working the computer and the lights, so I understand that, and I'm sure
Yeah.
a lot of our audience can as well. You know, Major, one of the reasons why I have you here today is to talk about the exciting new show that you're doing. I believe it's next Monday, right? This upcoming Monday at 54 Below, pardon me, called the Genies Jukebox at 9:45 p.m. at 54 Below. Tell me a little bit about that. The Genies Jukebox. What a great play on words.
Thank you, thank you. Well, it's a unique concert series that I've created. Now, it was born from my life in Aladdin.
Mhm.
I worked on Aladdin and met a lot of other genies who, had grown up like me or in some way and had all of this talent that we couldn't share at the same time on stage. And I didn't want to lose the moment or the opportunity to work with these other people who, we'd done the same work to share that role. So that was the initial reason that it became came into existence. And the first three of us, we had a full choir between the three of our voices, and it was a beautiful thing. And now it is growing. It is becoming something that any genie who has been in the jukebox can be a part of, and could possibly grow to more Disney characters. But it is something that comes specifically out of the genie's energy. You show up to see a show, and the jukebox gets turned on, and you don't know what's going to come out of it. You kind of just go with the Disney ride. And there may even be a day where it is an interactive moment, where the audience may get to choose some songs. And that is what is going to be unique to it.
That is really unique and sounds very, very excitingly unique. You mentioned, about one of the things about this that you had mentioned that I had read was that you're opening up the Disney Vault and you're offering your unique and renditions of the classic. And you've had the lamp for so long. Now that you're free of the lamp, you're ready to explore and also explore a slightly evil version, maybe even of Genie as well. So
Yes.
that's exciting. Could you tell us what audiences might be able to see when they go? Give us sort of a little taste. I know you have a great guest star, Corey Lee Blossy, who's currently the Genie on Broadway, joining you. So you've got some Genie family there.
Oh, well, no, that's Corey Lee Blossy was the genie from the tour.
Genie from the tour.
Like,
Okay.
and he's joining me. Yes, yes,
Oh,
yes.
from the tour.
Yes. Well, essentially, I also want to be a Disney villain, right? in life, Major Attaway does.
Yes.
So this is another angle. It's about who the genie's villain friends would be. We know that he is a magical being and he crosses all of these different universes and platforms and things, but that means he's had to interact with these same people over the years. So we discuss a little bit of who his friends would be and what he might do if he had all of that power and not the responsibility of taking care of Al as well. So yeah, it is my pitch for a Disney villainship in my life, as well as a fun way to take a good character and navigate evil songs.
I like that. Taking a good character and navigating evil songs. What kind of villain would you be? What kind of Disney villain would you be, do you think?
Oh, well, it's funny. It changes often, but growing up, some of my favorite films had animals in them.
Mhm.
So I'm thinking, I would love to be some type of animal villain, but I can't decide on what level I want that to be. Whether it could be, microscopic. I think that I would be the beautiful voice of a very evil flea. You know.
Oh.
And so I like the contrast of that idea. So that's what I think about the most. So maybe an amoeba, something tiny that can really change the world. Yeah, something Osmosis Jones inspired, but a Disney version. Yeah,
I love that. A Disney version, Osmosis inspired. Yeah, listen, Disney has yet to write something like that. And if they're watching, I mean, now is the perfect time. We do love our villains, and to create something in that villainous form that there's no villain sort of that is that amoeba or that, sort of type. And that would be really cool.
yeah, I think it'd be great.
Yeah. What's the rehearsal process been like for this new show? I'm sure you have probably been up to your eyes in preparing and getting everything together and renditions of stuff. What's the rehearsal process like?
Ooh, well, I can't tell you how many versions of the show we've gone through in trying to put it together. You know, trying to solidify the amount of canon that we want to use, each time we step into the room, because if it's too large, we want to make sure that everyone can stay on the same page as we tie a story together, to make everything cohesive and make sense. So yes, I'm definitely up to my eyes in Disney lyrics right now. That is for sure. And especially, I mean, you saw Jolly Holiday.
Yes.
That didn't really help the situation. It gave me more options. It gave me more perspective to see the show with. But yeah, we've gone through some mini rewrites of the script, because it has to be magical
Yeah.
yet purposeful. So I don't want to lose any of that energy that you expect, when it comes to Disney, but also I want to use the nostalgia correctly, respectfully. I don't want to make it too easy at the same time. So that's what the rehearsal process has been like. Go back and forth with Corey on the script, and
Mhm.
it's like, is this funny? He's like, it is, but it's not fast enough. That would make it funnier, So everything, all the basic things, because we want this to grow and we want it to be versatile enough to fit any performance venue. So
I think that is so important, and I like that, as you understand. I mean, Disney fans, they have a certain sort of um, expectation, and so keeping that while also making sure that this is something new to it is really exciting and great that you have somebody like Corey that you can bounce these ideas off of. And I'm really excited to see, obviously, to see the show on Monday, but to then see what comes of this, because at the end of the day, everybody loves Disney, as you know, and to be able to take something like this and reimagine it is just incredible.
right, and I mean, the Disney Princess Party started the exact same way. So yeah.
That's true. That is true. And look at them now. They've got Disney behind them. They got a Disney deal. They're going on tour. So,
You
I
never
mean,
know.
the possibilities are endless with this.
Yeah, right. They are.
Who knows? Maybe you'll have more genies in the future, or maybe, James, the original genie, will join you.
Mhm,
You know.
mhm, mhm. And the Genies Jukebox is open and welcome to genies of speaking all languages. So
Oh, that's
yes,
amazing.
yeah, yeah, we're in an international moment. It's going to be great.
Do you know how many genies there are, like how many companies there are of Aladdin internationally? Like, are there a lot?
There are. I believe I have all of them listed in my show almost.
Wow.
But there was a Japanese show.
Wow. Okay.
There is now a Mexican company.
Wow.
You have, the UK,
Mhm.
the Australian company, the German company. That that may be it right now.
That sounds about right.
Yeah, I think that's it. Yeah. So
It's
yeah.
insane. A lot of companies. Well, that's exciting. And you, if I recall, were in the original cast, right, of Disney on Broadway as the original standby, correct?
Oh no, I was the
Or the
third standby,
third standby?
but the first to replace James.
Okay, gotcha.
Yes. And here's why.
Yeah.
Because the other two standbys,
Uh-huh.
the first one was Michael James Scott,
Yeah.
and he opened the Australian company.
Okay.
And then you have Trevor Dion Nicholas,
Yes.
who opened the UK.
Very nice.
Yeah, and then I took over Broadway.
Oh, amazing. So when you say you were the third, in the sense of when the show opened, it was originally Michael was the standby, and then
Mhm,
he left to do Australia. Then
mhm.
they brought in, was Dion, you said, right?
Trevor. Mhm,
Trevor, and then and then they brought. Oh, that's wonderful. That's really cool.
mhm.
That had to be some both exciting, but also like big shoes to fill, replacing for James Monroe Eaglehart. I've seen you perform, so I know that you have the talent and everything to do that. But was there any advice or words of wisdom that James left with you as you started the role to help you get into this? The show was, I'm sure, is still in its prime, but the show was, still new a few years after he left. And was there anything that he gave you that
Well,
helped?
you want to know what he said to me?
I do.
He actually said only one sentence to me. He said, "Major,
Mm-hmm.
you're Batman now." That was it. It like that was all I needed to hear from him, but that's all he said. In that moment of transition, that was it. He was just like, "No more Robin, you're Batman. You have the thing. You have to do all the things." I'm like, "Okay, okay." But really, what I learned from him, he couldn't even put into words because he didn't need to say it. I had the opportunity to watch him do the show over and over and over again. I got to watch from the Mary Bridge, which is where the Mary Poppins Bridge in the New Am,
Mm-hmm.
and take notes, you know. So I got to match his comedic beats, and I got to see how a crowd reacted to his jokes, whether or not English was their first language. Like, and so all of those things seeped into my version of the genie. And so, I felt very confident and very comfortable in knowing that I took as much as I could from him. And his door was always open. He was always allow me to ask him any question necessary. I mean, he would even do that today, and so yeah, I learned invaluable lessons from that man.
Oh, I'm sure. I mean, he's just a genius. How long were you with the show for as Genie on Broadway?
Mm. Well, I joined the show March of 2016 was my
Mhm.
first show, March 20th, 2016. And I was essentially with the show until February 2020.
Okay. Wow. So was it one of the longest running Genies then, right?
The longest.
Oh,
I am officially, like, still currently hold the title of the longest running Broadway genie. Yeah, right now.
that is pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Wow. I mean, that title is so well deserved. And in holding that title, I mean, that this role comes with so much things attached to it. I mean, as you said, every night you were taking notes and learning. How did you keep up the stamina night after night to dive into this role that is exciting and exuberant and over the top, and every performance having to know that there's someone new who maybe hasn't seen the show or it's their first time,
Mhm.
but and meanwhile being like, Major might be tired, or you know what, Major isn't really feeling this today. How did you keep that
Right.
up?
Well, a team of people. I'll say that first. But the one thing, the way it started in my mind is that the genie doesn't have any concept of fatigue.
Mhm.
Like, his magic doesn't get tired, so that's not an issue for him. So that's the quickest way to navigate it. Like, get it together. But also, your in voice lessons with the one, the only, the great Liz Kaplan. I mean,
Those cats.
come on, she'll change anyone's life, and she changed mine. You're seeing ENTs. You are in physical therapy. Um, yeah, all week. Like, if there's not, you're not just doing the show, because in the morning you may wake up and be so fortunate as to have a voiceover gig that morning. So, it may be a Friday, but I also know that if I'm going to scream as the genie for the whole weekend, I also have to scream as this villain, in a video game this morning. So we'll do that, and then you go and get help from the community that keeps the actors on Broadway going.
And what a
Yeah.
large community that is of so many supportive people, you
Oh,
know.
yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, just to do one performance of Aladdin, it's like 150 people at least. And from the front of house
Yeah.
to underneath the stage, like, you need at least that many people for them to clap for me, like I did everything. Like, no, like, I'm glad you liked it,
Yeah.
but we're a team up here.
Yeah, well, and being a team is what it's all about, and it's wonderful that you are able to acknowledge that. Not everybody can say that, and so it's important that we acknowledge everyone else, but important that without them, you wouldn't be able to give your best, and without you, they would have no show. So, you
Hey,
know,
I appreciate that. Yeah, it's true. It's true. And one for me, that's part of the reason I loved doing it to begin with.
Right.
Was that communal effort to create. Like, my imagination works by myself, but
Mhm.
if we all agree to tell this story, it's going to be something crazy. It's going to be great. Yeah,
Yeah, that's going to be great for sure.
yeah.
What did being the genie on Broadway teach you as a new performer for doing it all those years? Is there something that you left with specifically that you took away?
Hmm. To not question myself.
It's a good one.
Yeah. I think just based on a lot of outside influences,
Mhm.
we anyone who considers themselves, an artist or of that nature, can question a lot of purpose based on, what we're expected to accomplish. But we're just really supposed to create things. And I think the uniqueness of being not only asked but required to bring myself into a role specifically, but having to layer that with the incredible nostalgia that comes with Robin Williams having the character before you, you know, um, to walk that line and then walk a new line, which is to not be the Tony winner, which, to some Broadway fans, that's a really big difference from from you to him.
Mhm.
To have all of that and still look around at your castmates and people in the building and them look to you to hold up the responsibility of the show. Like, it's a lot to navigate when the way I got here was by using my imagination, And so what it taught me was that I'm a complete artist. Like, it's okay to say it and not be, not to, like,
Mhm.
no one has to, no one can put a measure or value on me saying that. I love it, so that's what I'm saying. And that's what Broadway allowed me to do. Yeah.
I love it, and that's what I'm saying, and that's what Broadway allowed me to do. I That is really special and such a great thing to take away, to not question yourself. It's exciting. Now, with doing the Genies Jukebox, what have you taken away from this process so far in the rehearsal process um, that you've taken away as a performer? Is there something you've learned working on a show that is a little bit more stripped down? I mean, it's not, you're not doing a full length musical. It's stripped down. It's your own, that you've learned that you didn't know prior, that, aside from, not questioning yourself.
That's a great question. I haven't gotten that question yet. Um, I love that.
You.
Hmm. Let's see. What some of the things that I've taken away. Oh, well, I don't. Well, okay. My perspective has shifted, but in a way that has increased the value of what I've already done.
Mhm.
When creating a show where I'm having to choose what stories are worth telling in this new show, it's caused me to reflect, on everything in a new way because, I've only lived my life. So I may not always think certain things are as exciting as someone else might. If it's something someone else anticipates, it makes sense that oh, that is an exciting thing. So it's been kind of fun to tell a part of my story, a behind the scenes moment, and to see the reaction. Because up until now, I used to be saying other people's lines, you know.
Right.
So a group of people collaborated on these lines and then
Mhm.
allowed me to interpret them. Now I get up there and I just say what happened to me and how I felt, and it works. It's almost frightening, but it's liberating in a way.
How that
So
works.
that specifically is what the biggest thing I would say. Of course, plenty of things, but that's
Mhm.
probably the biggest thing I've taken
Amazing how that works, but wow.
away. Like being alive validates my life. Okay, cool.
Yeah, right. Well,
Yeah.
hey, listen, for those of you watching, if you have a question for Major, feel free to drop them in the comments and we will answer them if you have them. Any questions about Aladdin or anything. Now, Major, where can we get tickets to see this show at 54 Below?
Yes. You can get tickets and see everything that I'm going to be doing at majораttaway.com. There's a link on the front page.
MajorAttaway.com.
Yes. And we are also, for those who are too far away or would like to be a little safer this year, I respect that. We are doing a live stream of the same show as well. It will be live streamed on Monday night as well. So,
And that'll be on 54 Below's website, correct?
yes, yes, yes.
That's wonderful. And tickets are there as well. And for those of you who don't know and you purchase tickets, I believe there is a food and drink minimum, but it's all worth it if you haven't been out to 54 Below.
Yes, and also today, we are we're doing a flash sale for tickets. So we have a link that is going to be for 35% off your ticket price. And so, yes, we'll be sharing that on all of my socials today.
That is amazing and so exciting. We love a good flash sale.
Come on now. Come on, flash sale.
That's so exciting. Well, one of the things that I found interesting is, you're really into video games. Right before we came on, I was talking to you about your hat you have on. It says, player Major. And
I played Major.
I played Major. Oh, I'm sorry. I thought I said player Major.
You're all right.
I played Major. And then you have a Twitch, and it's a great Twitch name, and at least on
it. Yeah, this is the name for my Twitch channel.
Yeah, I played Major.
Yeah, it's so that when I win, you can say Major played me. So yeah. Yes, the Twitch channel is a culmination of all the things I love. I grew up infatuated with video games. My father, I think the real love started when my father was an auctioneer, and he took me to arcade auctions when I was younger. So I would get to go to a warehouse on a Saturday and spend a whole day playing arcade games that were there for sale, but they were all free to play until they were sold. So I would just go to the end of the list and play games all day. So I think it's a unique situation. Most kids didn't get to beat full arcade games in their lifetime because they never had that many quarters. Who could do that? So yes, this is a place where all of that, and that's actually what the logo is based on. It's me coming out of an arcade game holding a controller.
Oh, that's amazing.
So that's where the love of it started, and then add in the voiceover work, and Twitch is the place I need to be, obviously.
It is.
So yeah, so I'm there, and I'm playing games that I am in, and I'm playing games that I want to be in as well. So you can come and hang out with your new favorite voice actor and hear me talk to my own character on the game, and you can ask me questions, and we can live our best lives. I even have a little sneak peek. The world hasn't seen this yet, but I'm going to debut it here, Mr. Myers. I have a backpack.
Oh, look at that. Oh my
yes
gosh.
These will be available for purchase soon. I'm just going to show you the front.
I love that. Folks, oh my God, friends, you heard it here first. There's going to be a backpack exclusively for I Played Major. That is, so I've asked who designed the logo, because that's a cool logo.
Yes, her name is a friend of mine from Texas, a Black woman who has started her own business, and she is growing like crazy. Brit with the blanks, and I will share all of her information, but it's Brit with the blanks. Yeah. Wow.
Well,
she's fantastic.
Shout out to Brit with the blanks. I mean, what?
Oh, yes. Oh, but the logo, I'm sorry. She designed the backpack. The logo.
Yeah.
Walter C. Barnett.
Walter C. Barnett. Okay.
Yes, wow. Yes.
That is so it's very video game-esque. So it fits perfectly to a T.
Yes.
Now, you said you're also playing, people can play against you in the video games. What video games are you in? Is that, are there some that you voice? Have you been in some video games? Do tell.
Yes. Video games and anime are my thing.
Mhm.
I would say okay. The I voice Clay in Borderlands 3. Now he is an NPC, which is a non-playable character, but he does guide you through the game, and you get to hang out with him, and he tells you ridiculous jokes. Um, and then a character you can play against me is I'm in Smite. I have like 4 or 5 characters in Smite, or skins as we call them, as well as ooh, the Wrath of the Righteous. I play Daskari, who is the Demon Lord of Locust, and he's the big baddie on the game. And that's a PC game that you when you meet me, I fly into the screen and I chop off the head of your most loyal dragon. so so yeah. So those are just a few, but those are some of my faves.
That is pretty badass, I must say.
Thank you.
I love that. I love that. And voiceovering for video games must be a challenge in and of itself. I mean, when you voice over a video game, do they give you sort of a concept of what you're going to be voicing, or do they give you lines, you say them how you're supposed to, and then from there, people on the other side of whatever the video games do then put it together to make it a game? I gotta imagine it's got to be tough to either not know or to know, and not it's not like TV or film.
Right. Well, the way it works, there's two different ways of the work that I do essentially.
Mhm.
You can either be dubbing anime
Mhm.
or dub things into, not specifically anime, but dub anything into English.
Okay.
In that case, you are given lines that are an interpretation um, of the other language
Huh.
that have been I'm sorry, an interpretation of the translation of the other language. And then most likely you're confined to the mouth flaps of the other characters. So you're having to put, the English in where they're obviously not speaking English words. So that is an interesting way. But with the video games, normally if you are creating a character, we get to do it the other way, where they give you a list of lines, and you may even be able to interject some of your own ad libs, and then they build the animation of the character around the action of the lines. So it's the opposite way, and that is more like what you said. It's when they you get to do it well, and you do. Sorry, to answer more of that question, you do have a good concept of who you are and what you're creating. There's often photos, or drawings, as well as descriptions that they have written, and then practice lines and things like that. So no, there's quite a bit, especially with your bigger games or with franchises that are already established.
Right.
Then that world has existed for a decade already, and so it's easy for them to say, this is the planet that you live on, in this quadrant, in this neighborhood, and this is what you eat, and that type of thing. And so yeah, it can get very detailed. Because for me, the medium doesn't really change that much. I'm going to give you the same physicality and facial expressions in the booth as I would on the stage, because I need to make the sound. And so that's it. Yeah.
That's great. Do you have a favorite video game that you like to play?
Ooh, ooh. Um, I will say I kind of have a couple of franchises
Nice.
that I like. And Assassin's Creed is one franchise I love, as well as one that I'm playing right now on my Twitch channel. God of War is a great one. And really, I love Borderlands, and I'm a little biased because that's the one of the games I'm in, but it reminds me of when I played Halo, when I was younger, and so that was another game that I was obsessed with. so yeah, though I think that's a long enough list.
Yeah, that's a great list. I love that. Well, Major, listen, thank you so much for taking the time to chat with me today. I've so enjoyed this, and I've learned so much about you, not just about the Genies Jukebox, but about your career. And listen, for those out there, everyone, make sure you catch the Genies Jukebox coming up this Monday at 54 Below at 9:45 p.m. I believe you can follow Major on Instagram and Twitter at Major Attaway, correct?
Yes, correct.
Yes. And you go to his website as well, majораttaway.com. And to get tickets, go to 54below.com. You don't want to miss this. I cannot wait to see this. I'm really excited. If you are a fan of Disney, of Genie, of Majors, come on out and see this and support live art. And for those of you, if you want to continue to keep up with me, you can follow me on Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter at Rye_Myers, and on Facebook at official Rye Myers as well. And remember to make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel so you can see all the new interviews I do every week. And if you are in the New York City area, come on out to my live Broadway talk show in person, Live with Ryan and Friends on Broadway at Bar 9, right in the heart of the Theater District, every Thursday at 7:30 for my live Broadway talk show. Very excited now that we're in 2022. I have some great guests lined up for you, including Hannah Cruz, Michael Mott, and so many other great people. And there's live performances. There's Broadway trivia with prizes. We've given out signed playbills, Amazon gift cards. It's the Broadway talk show you want to be at. So make sure you check that out. Major, before we leave, any final words that I didn't maybe touch on?
No, I think we're great. Oh well, one more. For my fans in Texas, we are also doing a show on February 12th. It is called Genies Jukebox, a Disney date night, where we are celebrating love in its many forms. It's going to be 7:30 p.m. at the downtown Cowtown at the Isis. And yes, we are celebrating love, family love, romantic love, and friendship as well. And we'd love to see you there.
All the love, and
all the love,
and all the love in Texas. That is amazing. Well, thank you so much, Major.
Thank you. Appreciate it.